Happy Landen Miree Day!
Meow.
Happy Friday and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Make sure you join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply. At participating locations, visit CircleK.com for details. I am Anthony Totri, joined as always by the cat whisperer himself, Erik Ruby. He is in the TV today, not next to me. We have the woolly mammoth behind the Mac, Noah Woolbricks, making all of the magic happen. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Rubus, we got a lot to get into today on this Freaky Friday. We already got Res Devil in the chat saying, let's go. Ruby responding with a good old big time. It is big time, and it's a big day for Arizona State. Another 3-star / 4-star tight end, depends which ranking system you're going to use. And I think today we'll go ahead and use Rivals because of that extra star that they are giving Arizona State's newest class of 2026 commit. Ruby, it's Landen Miree.
Yeah, before we get into it, for anybody who's listening on audio and you don't know why I meowed in the cold open, just go to video and check it out. But, I mean, we definitely saw this coming. This is a guy that we talked about a while ago. Probably like a month and a half ago?
About a month and a half ago, yeah.
Yeah, a while ago. And I revisited watching, his tape and his highlights after the official commitment today. I mean, ASU is tight NU. There's really no other way around it at this point. I mean, ASU's in a great location, and it's very attractive to, tight ends because of Jason Mohns, right? And because Jason Mohns has really, really, really transformed that room. And, we talk about Shaman and Kamari, as far as established college football players and, all Big 12 player in Shaman. And then, getting AJ Ia, we're all super excited to see him this season. And Jaden Fortier's the golden goose. And now we're sitting here and I'm looking at Landen Miree. And Landen Miree looks smooth in all assets of the game, right? And pass catching and route running and blocking. Like he long snapped. He plays special teams. And so this is a big, big win for ASU. And I think as you continue to move on past Sam Leavitt and you continue to move on through the iterations of this team, having consistently good tight ends helps you establish an identity. It's like running backs and tight ends is kind of what ASU is now going to be known for going forward. And I think those are great places to plant your flag.
Yeah, 100%. Stephen Mitchell throwing up the 4 stars in the chat. David Buck saying, good day, Sun Devils. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Ruby, and I tweeted it out. Like, you look at the Arizona State roster, specifically that tight end room as it stands right now. We all know the talent currently on the roster, right? You've got a guy in Shaman that was nearly an all-conference first-team tight end at the end of the year last year in the Big 12. I believe he ended up making that second team. Was kind of surprised a little bit not to see him get any real preseason conference honors, but, that only fuels the fire. And then outside of him, they went to the transfer portal. They added a guy in Kamari Anderson from Kentucky, also at that tight end position. Gives you a little bit more versatility. I think he's a little bit quicker than maybe some people expect. You got faster at that position with the departure of course, the baby Rhino in the offseason, transferring back to Florida State. And then, you look at some of the young bucks on this roster without even mentioning a guy like in Cameron Hartpool, who was a really solid blocking tight end for this team last year offensively. You know what that does, of course, for the ground game. We saw it with Cam Scadaboo. But you bring up the younger guys, a Jaden Fortier, who Jason Mohns, just a few years removed from saying is that golden goose. Excited to see his development continue. Now he's got a full season where he doesn't have to worry about the rehab and do all that stuff. Excited to see what he brings. And then, of course, AJ Ia. AJ Ia is that giant tight end, the freshman tight end at ASU, had a really solid spring. And he figures to play a big part this year for the Sun Devils and long-term down the line, right? Because Shaman, Kamari, likely done after this season. So you do have to build for that future. And I'm not sure there's a position right now that you look at or a group on this team that has improved just so much over the last couple of seasons. And then you look down the line for the future and it's like, okay, well, yeah, AJ Jaden Fortier, you've got Hayden Vercher, and now you throw in a guy in Landen Miree in the mix. Like Jason Mohns is doing a phenomenal job just reloading the talent at that tight end position for the Sun Devils.
Yeah, who is the kid who also plays linebacker, who played both ways, linebacker and tight end, who committed to Arizona State?
Oh, I'd have to go back and look at the
so many
list.
tight end commits at this point that we're running out of names to remember. But this is the benefit of having such high level coaches in each individual room, right? Beyond just the tight ends. I mean, Sean Aguano in the running backs room, right? Hines Ward in the wide receiver room. Like that stuff definitely pays dividends when it comes to putting your team together on the field and playing football and you're in training camps and you're doing what you need to do to win. But also you got to think about these are the type of guys that are now going into high schoolers' houses and speaking to their families and speaking to their parents and speaking to them. And not only can they point to, like, if you're Sean Aguano and you say, look at the long list of running backs at Arizona State, let alone the ones that I've coached here, let alone the success that I've had on the high school level, on your level, right? Like I've won championships, plural, at your level. And I'm looking at you and saying, you are that dude. You are somebody we want on the team. It's the same way with Jason Mohns and the tight end room. Like if you have somebody like that who is so invested on a singular position, who by all means probably has the ability to be a head coach or to be an offensive coordinator, right? At this level, let alone the high school level, be a dominant one. Like these are the benefits that you're going to be able to get when you mix this on-field success that Arizona State has had as of late in this last year, and also with the promise of what's going on in the future, and the consistency of keeping the coaches. I know when we had Matt Berry on for Big 12 Media Day, he wanted to point out retaining Marcus Arroyo and retaining Brian Ward. Hell, let's talk about retaining Hines Ward. Let's talk about retaining Jason Mohns, right? Let's talk about retaining all of these coaches that go beyond the offensive, defensive coordinator and head coach, and why that plays maybe more of an effect than ever when it comes to high school recruiting nowadays. Like this is the dividends paying off. And, if ASU has another successful year and has another first team all conference tight end in Shaman, or a breakout freshman year from AJ Ia, or Kamari Anderson transfers here and is dominant, like other tight ends are going to look at that and say, like, why the hell would I not commit to this system?
Yeah, and I think something that really sticks out to me, just based off of what we saw last year in Arroyo's offense and the way that he was able to utilize Shaman, is you can go to a number of different schools. You can be used as just a run blocker, right? You could be used as a pass catching option like they do at Georgia a lot of times. But I think what I noticed last year for this offense, and of course you look at the numbers from Scat and then you look at the numbers from Shaman, right? Like here you can be somebody that does it both, right? You can turn into an elite run blocker
you
while
have
also
to.
being, you have to, and also be an elite level pass catching tight end. And I think there are a lot of folks that maybe would sit back and say, well, why do that, right? Why not just specialize? Why not go get a guy that's superior at run blocking? Why not go get a guy who is an elite level pass catcher at tight end? Well, looking at guys that you can develop long term and talking with some of these kids, right? A lot of these kids want to go to the league. Well, guess what? There are not a lot of tight ends in the NFL anymore that are just specialists at pass catching or just specialists at run blocking. At Arizona State, under Marcus Arroyo and Kenny Dillingham and Jason Mohns, you can be a tight end that catches the football, goes and scores touchdowns, while also turning into an elite level run blocker, which is only going to make you a more prominent and a better prospect when it does come time to make that decision if you want to go to the NFL, right? You could turn on the tape. Hey, guess what? I don't just run block. I don't just catch touchdowns. I do it all, right? And that's what Arizona State is looking for in a lot of their tight ends. And I think you see it, right? Landen Miree, when he arrives on campus alongside Hayden Vercher, I'm excited to see just how far into their development they are when they do initially arrive on campus for spring ball. Again, class of 2026 guys. Because we saw AJ Ia in his first spring ball not only be a really, really talented route runner and pass catcher, but already being able to block sophomores, juniors, seniors on that offensive line, right? To be able to do that as a true freshman speaks volumes about the type of player that he is and the type of player he is going to be, which leads me to believe that Arizona State, Jason Mohns, Marcus Arroyo, they've got their brand of football. They just need to plug and play guys that fit that. And I think they've got that, right? You got a guy in Hayden Vercher, and now you got Landen Miree, who isn't a small guy by any means. This tight end room is literally and figuratively getting bigger in both senses. He's 6'4", 215 pounds with a whole nother year of high school football. He is, I want to say, a top 40 tight end in the country, and that one is by 24/7 Sports. But he chose ASU over a number of big-time schools, right? His Final Four consisted of Arizona State, Washington, who's a couple years removed from playing in a national championship game, Florida State, who's just a couple years removed from being an undefeated, I believe, conference champion in the ACC, and then Baylor, a team in this conference that is honestly on an upward trajectory based off of last season, and he opted to say, you know what, I'm going to Arizona State, told 24/7 Sports, these are the realest coaches. Marcus Arroyo, Jason Mohns, Kenny Dillingham. I chose ASU because I know exactly what I'm getting at Sun Devil Nation.
Yeah, and to kind of play off of a couple things that you said before we dive a little bit more in on Miree, the blocking stuff starts at the top. I mean, I remember 365 days ago when we were talking about how Jordan Tyson was earning his keep in the wide receiver room. He was like, I love blocking. Like, I want to block. I want to put somebody in the ground. And if your star, if somebody who's going to be possibly a top 10 pick in the NFL is going to go out there and do all the dirty work, right? If Hines Ward, a Super Bowl MVP, is going to tell you to do all the dirty work, right? You're going to do the dirty work. And if you are any offensive weapon, right, and you're a 4-star tight end, one of the top tight ends of the country, somebody who clearly can be an elite pass catcher, but you know that you're going to be asked to get down and dirty. Like, it's not just, hey, it's you, right? It's everybody. It's literally the stars. It's at the top of the top. And if you're a star, that ain't changing because that's the culture. But to him specifically, when I was going back and I was watching, his tape, right? The agility, the footwork, I think on the route running, he's had toe tap touchdowns as well. Like he runs routes like a wide receiver and he gets yak like a wide receiver, but he can't get brought down like a tight end, right? Like that's a dangerous combo. And, he didn't have like the super one long highlight reel. He kind of had it cut up like over and over again, which made getting through the ads really annoying because it was the same ad over and over and over again.
You don't like ads?
No, I like hashtag free ad Fridays, right? And I like our ads, but these other ads that aren't personal, I don't like that. But anyway, like it was individual game highlights, right? And I was like, I'm not seeing a lot of blocking here. Like it looks like he can block and he's physical, but I'm like, I want to see some more blocking. And then I click on like a little like 30-second video from one game, and it's just him putting dudes in the ground.
Yeah.
Right. And it's him leading for his quarterback to run in for a touchdown. There's a highlight of him long snapping the ball on special teams and then running down the field and making the tackle before the ball like can get 5 yards past when the returner catches it, which is just like, okay, dude, like I see you. He can go through the middle and run block as well, not just kind of do it on the outside. And that's how you get on the field, right? Like, I mean, Cameron Harpool, might be the most underrated piece in Arizona State's offense last year. I don't think that's a crazy thing for me to say because the run game and especially Sam Levitt's run game and some goal line stuff with Harpool and what he did moving guys, like that helped elevate this offense at least consistently, right? Like maybe it doesn't raise the ceiling, but I think it keeps you from your floor. And I mean, that's Cameron Harpool, right? But if you're looking at somebody, you're saying like, you can come in and be Shema Matai, you're still going to block. You can come in and be Cameron Harpool. You might only block really and only have a couple of targets on offense. Like it's a system and it's one that I think players want to be in. And now there's a line of quarterbacks that are also coming in as well, whether it's Cam Dyer, who's already on the team, or Butter, or if you're looking at Jake Fett, right? Who's at Elite 11, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Right, you look at that, you have your coordinators under contract. We all know how that goes. Maybe one day they're not there, but as of right now, you look at the coordinators and you say they're under contract as well. And if Arizona State goes out this season and turns AJ Ia into a freshman sensation, I wouldn't be surprised if in the 2027 recruiting class, 2028 recruiting class and beyond, a top 30, top 20, top 10 tight end starts consistently choosing Arizona State. And I feel the same way about running backs. And then it's if Jordan Tyson turns into this elite 2-year wide receiver, and goes top 10 in the NFL draft, then I'm going to start feeling that way about the wide receiver room. And if Sam Levitt wins the damn Heisman and goes number 1 overall in the NFL draft, and you've got the lineage of quarterbacks after him ready to go, I'm going to start feeling about that. Not many other positions that you need to fill in skill-wise for that. So, I really do think that Arizona State is in a really good position when it comes to all offensive talent, but for tight end specifically with Miree, what are you the most excited about watching him? And maybe what do you think he needs to develop over his last year of high school a little bit more?
I don't know if there's anything just glancing at the tape that I'm immediately this is something that he needs to pick up on. But I think anytime we're talking about high school players, the immediate thing for me is strength, right? That's something that you see it transition from all levels, from high school to college to pros, right? Is you're going to a different level here. And a lot of people talk about the speed of the game. But when we're talking about a position like tight end, where, like we just said at Arizona State, you're going to have to block, right? If you want to see the field, you are going to have to block and make a difference in the ground game. Otherwise, you're not going to get the ball. You're not going to get in the game because guess what? There are 3 guys behind you that are working to do everything that you can't do. Right. So in terms of a strength perspective, I think Hayden Vercher, any of the other guys that you're going to be seeing blocking down the line for Arizona State, I think that's huge, right? Focus on that. Focus on maybe not even the things that you can do on the field, but the thing that we just talked about yesterday with how Arizona State players are taking the offseason and using it as an advantage, specifically as it relates to conforming their bodies the way that they want to, whether that be losing weight or adding muscle or getting faster. I think that is something that Landen Miree can now focus on going into his final year of high school football is, hey, I'm going to just be a gym rat. I'm going to be in there every day, an extra hour. I'm going to be in there early. Make sure your body's right. Build muscle, build strength. That way, when you do get to Arizona State, whether that be in the spring or the fall, that there isn't a learning period. There isn't oh, wait, these are college guys. You need to have a college body when you're a freshman if you want to play as a freshman. And I think that's the biggest thing that you don't necessarily see a lot of the time with freshmen. That's why, for me, AJ Eas stands out so much is because he does have a college-level body already as a true freshman. I think that's something that Landen Miree can 100% focus on, confident that he can do that going into his final year of ball. And then when he does get to ASU, I'm excited to see how he kind of fits in the system a little bit. That is something I do want to talk about, just the system, the fit, and why you guys continue to see Arizona State add tight ends to their recruiting classes year over year. But before we do that, we are going to take a quick break. I don't know if you guys have noticed, I personally have, but it's hot as hell outside at all times. Sometimes you're in a rush. You don't want to do your hair. Sometimes you're going golfing with the boys. Sometimes you're going to the pool and you just want to throw on a hat. Well, sometimes it's too hot. You got the sweat stains and everything going on there. That's not the case when it comes to branded bills. They are high quality. And the best part for me is when I do walk outside on those 100-degree days, the hat, it's breathable, it's light, it's comfortable. That's why Ruby is always sporting one, even in the comfort of his own home. Whether you're looking for your own gear to make your brand stand apart from the crowd or anything else under the sun, Branded Bills, they've got you covered with the best custom headwear in the game. Make sure you head to brandedbills.com and use code BBPHNX for 15% off your first order.
Seems like Arizona State is easily stacking up tight ends for the now and for the future, but are you easily stacking up rewards points on your credit card purchases? Probably not if you're not using a rewards credit card with Mountain America Credit Union from now until July 31st, because you get double the amount of points on those credit card purchases. But guess what? Time is running out. Now, this is a promotion that's been going on for about a month at this point and still about 20 days left, and that just shows that Mountain America Credit Union, well, they're committed to helping their more than 1 million members all throughout the West. And you can easily watch your points pile up, and it's perfect for gas, groceries, travel, home projects, and all other purchases, all things that I've done and am currently doing.
Stretch
now
the dollar.
I can make Stretch that dollar, baby. Redeem your double points for things like travel rebates, gift cards, event tickets. Maybe you can get a travel rebate to go to the Big 12 championship, and maybe you get an event ticket there. Listen, it's a limited time only, so just take advantage while you can now until July 31st. Get details at macu.com/double. Loans are on approved credit. Offer can change or be withdrawn at any time. It's a limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply. Before we get to the system thing, Totri, Coach Stark in the chat, who, by the way, love Coach Stark, always, says, the reality is if you want to keep Jason Mohns, he will need to be promoted at the end of the season. Do you feel that way?
Not necessarily. I think this is always the difficult part of college athletics, right? Is like, if you could be an elite level program, well, then you kind of established yourself with the players and the recruiting ranks and the pipelines, and you're always going to, in theory, get good players. But as you continue to win, as you continue to have good seasons and players leave and go to the league, well, you also have coaches and assistant coaches get offered bigger jobs, right? You get assistants, position coaches get offered coordinator jobs. And then when your coordinators perform real well, then they go get head coaching jobs. That is unfortunately going to be the pickle that Arizona State and Kenny Dillingham are in the near future if the Sun Devils continue to do what they did last season in the Big 12. So in terms of a Jason Mohns promotion, do I think he deserves it? Absolutely. Do I think he gets it? That's the big question, right? Because you got Hines Ward at that wide receiver spot. You already have Marcus Arroyo, who's inked an extension as the offensive coordinator. So where do you go from here? What gives? Or is Jason Mohns true to what everybody has said about this Arizona State coaching staff, where it's like, you know what, like I'm good here, right? Like I don't need to go be a coordinator at this point in my career. I don't need to go make more money. I don't need to go somewhere else and be a head coach because I love Arizona State, right? The same standard that we hold the players to, or I guess I shouldn't say we, the standard that Kenny holds the players to of, hey, if you want to be at Arizona State, that's great. We want you here because you want to be a Sun Devil. I think you're going to learn over the next several seasons which coaches truly want to be Sun Devils, and that may unfortunately mean giving up some big-time opportunities or some promotions with where they're at across the country. Because in all honesty, like if they have a good season and Marcus doesn't leave, then what? Then where are you promoting Jason Mohns? Well, is he an assistant head coach at that point?
Well, and that's the thing is like, you know, I don't want to, it's tough because, you preach about wanting to be here and everything like that. But they also tell players if you think that there's a better opportunity and a better place for you, like we'll shake your hand and wish you good luck and give you a glowing recommendation. Like the coaching world's so brutal that if you're a tight ends coach and somebody comes knocking about a head coaching opportunity in the collegiate level, like I don't think Kenny Dillingham's going to get mad at you for considering
Absolutely
that, right?
Not.
Even though it's not at Arizona State. But I think that when you are part of a staff and we'll truly see, like I could totally see people leaving. Like I could totally see coaches leaving to take on bigger coaching jobs because that's literally just how this goes. Yeah. Right? Like Kenny Dillingham left being a coordinator to be a head coach at Arizona State. Right. He left a bigger school to go to a quote unquote lesser school, at least as far as the college football hierarchy goes, to become a head coach because that's just how this
why
goes.
Did he do it?
But he did it because he loved the place. But also it's like at the same time,
it was his dream job.
Yeah, but it was a head coaching opportunity, right? Like you work your whole life.
I think he would 100%, if there was an opportunity to be the OC here, I think he 100% would have taken that job. And that is totally opinion-based. Like but again, like that's the part of it, right? Like he was very particular with the way that he built this staff. How many guys have we talked about on this coaching staff that are from the Valley, that have won in the Valley? Like you said just 5 minutes ago, Jason Mohns has won several championships here at the high school level. Now he's a Big 12 champion at Arizona State. His family's here, right?
Well, and that was kind of the thing, right? Is like his family, like he's such like a family guy in the donuts, before game day and everything like that. Like, he's an Arizona guy through and through as well, right? And so I think that, people leaving is certainly on the table, and I wouldn't be surprised. And honestly, like I would be upset from like a personal standpoint because I love the coaching staff, but from a like professional standpoint, man, like do what you got to do, right? Like,
yeah, of course.
If you think it's best for your family and best for your career, then you got to do it. Thank you for your time here and helping revive this program. But like Jason Mohns is looking at a running back coach who's also won multiple state championships and looking at a special teams coach who is one of the most successful high school coaches in Arizona history as well, right? And you're looking at former head coaches like Marcus Arroyo, who are your offensive coordinator, right? Like the respect that Kenny treats all these guys with, like they're all on an equal playing field and on an equal level here. And as long as Arizona State continues to make more money and continues to reinvest that, not just in the players, but also in the coaches, the same way they did in Arroyo and B Ward Decord as well, to lock them up when they easily could have been poached by another job this offseason. Right? Like if Arizona State invests in these coaches and Jason Mohns becomes the highest paid tight ends coach of the Big 12 because Arizona State is just running through Big 12 championships and recruiting tight ends, like would he want to leave? I don't know. Conjecture. Probably not though, because you're part of something that you love in the state that you love, and you're highly successful and you're taking care of your family and you're respected. I think a lot of the times when these coordinators leave other jobs and go elsewhere, sometimes they're seeking that respect, right? Yeah. Like I want to prove myself. To me, there's not really a single coach on Arizona State's coaching staff that truly needs to prove themselves besides maybe Hines Ward, because he hasn't coached a ton, but he also won a damn Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, I think that would be crazy to be like Hines Ward of anybody on the staff needs to prove himself.
But that's but like he has the least coaching experience, right? Yeah. And we're talking about Hines freaking Ward. Yeah. So I think when you can like look around and it's like it makes sense that, you know, the offensive coordinator is the offensive coordinator and the wide receivers coach is the wide receivers coach, right? And then the defensive coordinator is the defensive coordinator. Like there's no question marks as to what's going on with the staff. That I see that as helping ASU retain some of the coaches that technically fall down on the coaching tree, but I think are just equally important to the success here.
I think something that also doesn't get pointed out enough when it comes to this, and this happens with players all the time as well, is like people assume because there's an opportunity that opportunity is something that individual would want, right? You see it all the times with players that are like, why didn't you transfer, right? Why didn't you go to a bigger school? Why didn't you go get more money? People are people, right? Coaches are people. Players are people, right? Does an 18, 19, 20-year-old want to uproot their entire life to move across the country to a place that they've never been to play under a staff who they have no idea who they are? Like, oftentimes, no, unless it's the right situation. And I think the same thing goes with coaches. We sit here and a lot of fans and media talk about, oh, well, guess what? You're probably going to get one more year of this coach and then they're going to go somewhere else. Well, what if that coach doesn't want to be an offensive coordinator? What if that person doesn't want to be a head coach, right? There was an emphasis this offseason from Kenny and the administration to take care of the staff, to take care of the coordinators, to take care of the position coaches. Why? Because a big reason or factor when people do ultimately move on and take these other jobs is not necessarily because of the quote-unquote opportunity. It's more so because of the money, right? It's life-changing money. But if you are making a good salary for what you do that is equal to or more than what the standard is, then yeah, if I love this place and I'm getting paid what I feel like I am worth year over year, then I think you're comfortable. You're fine. Yeah. You've been here, right? Like, in all honesty, bring it to an everyday life. Like, do I want Espo's job? Technically, that'd be a promotion. No, I don't want Espo's job, right?
Thank God.
I'm comfortable here, right? Like, and that's like, that's everybody. Everybody, I think, can point to an aspect of their life where it's like, yes, this would, in theory, be a promotion, but I don't want that, right? You just assume that would be the natural level of progression, which I think we can totally throw out, and maybe not totally, but like to some extent, throw out what you think you know about college football when it comes to Arizona State. Because if we went by that natural progression, Sam Leavitt would be the quarterback at a different school. Jordan Tyson would be the number one wide receiver for a different school. Marcus Arroyo, Brian Ward, and Kenny Dillingham would all be coaching elsewhere. And Arizona State would have to start from scratch again. But that's not the case because this isn't your dad's Arizona State. This is a different era of Sun Devil football. And until we see what takes place, it's hard to make guesses and judgments on what these players and coaches are going to do year over year.
Yeah, and, you know, I think the final thing on that before, I know I want to talk about the system. Sorry for kind of derailing that. But I think it's an interesting point, and I think when you have such a good staff, you know, it's funny because at my old job, one of the people I worked with kept on saying, like, I'm waiting for Arizona State to have a head coach so good that, and they do such a good job with the program that somebody goes and poaches them instead of them getting fired and moved on from, because it means they did a good job with the program.
Yeah.
And I think it's very funny that a couple years later, here I am sitting on this job and we're talking about how they're like what, like 5 dudes on the staff that either I think have qualifications for or would at least be worth the risk of being a head coach on the collegiate level. Like, listen, dude, when Sean Aguano was the interim, like, I loved it. Like, I was a fan of Sean Aguano as the interim, right? And Kenny was a great choice, and the fact that he could retain him was amazing. But, you know, Aguano's not even coming up in these conversations. But when you talk about, like,
he should
be. He absolutely, and he Sean Aguano, Jason Mohns, like, could both be offensive coordinators and then head coaches on the collegiate level. Like, I am without a doubt 1,000% convinced of that. Like, there's nothing in my mind that can shake that from me, like, at all. Yeah. I think they are just as qualified as anybody else to get promotions and move up in the staff. But again, when there's everybody on the staff that you could say that, and listen, like, Kenny Dillingham really gives an F about Tempe. Like, that's an understatement. Yeah. Like, really cares about this school. And there's a reason why when building the staff, he also went out and tried to get high school coaches from Arizona that have invested in this community. And it's like, it's the success of last year has kind of accelerated a lot of things. But do you think any of these high school coaches went on for like a 2-year project? No. They came here to create Arizona State into a powerhouse locally, to quote unquote activate the Valley and to put them back on the map to where they need to be. So Matt Berry doesn't have to get mad about them being called a sleeping giant anymore. Right?
Yeah.
Like, if you look at Jason Mohns and you say, I am getting paid handsomely as a tight ends coach. I love what I do. I'm in the community that I care about. My family is comfortable in where I grew up in. My connections are all here. I'm well respected by all my coaching peers, including the ones that are technically above me on the food chain. And why would I then turn around and go be offensive coordinator at, like, you know, Ohio State, even though that might sound super juicy? Right? Or why would I go be offensive coordinator at another Big 12 school, even though it would technically be a promotion? Or why would I go be the head coach at NAU, you know, when I could just stay here and be involved in this?
It's a gross,
you know?
Thought.
No, but seriously, that's kind of what we're talking about here. And we'll see, you know, it's a lot of talk right now. But 2, 3, 4 years from now, I don't think the staff will be 100% the same, because it's the same way with the roster. Like, you're not going to keep everybody, right? But I think as far as comparing it to the rest of college football and successful teams, the roster turnover on the roster and coaching the roster, I think, will not be anywhere near on the staff, which kind of leads to the system. And when you're recruiting kids, Totri, for the system, you can promise them by the time that you get here, like, what I'm telling you right now and who's recruiting you is going to be the one coaching you when you get here in 2 years. And that, I think that, as far as being comfortable and taking the step and even moving across the country, will pay massive dividends in recruiting these high school kids.
Yeah, 100%. And we'll bring it up in the chat. Aguano and Mohns are the ones that would have left if they really wanted to. Nothing can convince me that either of them would lead for another job. I don't know about that, but I will say, if Jason Mohns, if it was all about being an offensive coordinator at the college level, or if it was all about being a head coach at the college level, he would have left Saguaro long before Kenny Dillingham was named the head coach at Arizona State. And as it relates to Hines Ward, there is, of course, the rumors and the discussion of, like, oh, he wants to be a head coach, or, oh, he wants a promotion, whatever. I think if Hines Ward leaves Arizona State, which, again, he had every opportunity to leave Arizona State this offseason, he decided to stay at Arizona State. He chose to be a Sun Devil. I think if Hines Ward does eventually leave, I don't think it's for college football. I think it's for an NFL gig at some point, which, again, is just great press for Arizona State and trying to reload at that specific position room in terms of coaching. And as it gets back to the system, kind of like you brought up, right? The assurances and the consistency of being able to have coordinators and position coaches, like the guys that recruited you, guess what? When you get here in 2 years, they're still here. They're going to develop you. They're going to, all those promises that you had, or those discussions, like, they can deliver on that now. And you can continue to develop that relationship. And I think when it comes specifically to Jason Mohns in that tight end room, and I guess just the offense in general, I've seen a lot of people, especially in our diehard Discord, that have been talking about, like, oh, Arizona State going for another tight end, right? 2 tight ends this class, a couple, you know, in previous years, and then you add one from the portal. Well, like, why do you do that? Why do they continue to add tight ends over seemingly every other skill position? In my estimation, it's because Kenny Dillingham and Marcus Arroyo's offense, what you saw last year, what you saw from Kenny the year prior, is this offense is a play action pass dream, right? That's exactly what it is. And that's why part of the reason why Sam Levitt was able to be so successful last year is because Cam Scadaboo and this running back room were so dominant that defenses had to start playing the run, right? So if you're an offensive coordinator and defenses continue to just load the box, play the run, which they're always going to do if you have an elite level running back, which Sean Aguano continues to bring in every single year, is you start to bring in those big tight ends that are also versatile, right? Guys that have the height, have the strength, but also have the speed to move pre-snap, that can go run routes wherever they need to be. You can isolate matchups with safeties, with linebackers. But if you're running 2 tight end sets and they're on opposite ends of the LOS, guess what? As a defense, you have to play the run there, right? Because you got 7 guys on the line of scrimmage. If they're not playing the run, guess what? Sam Levitt, at this point in his career in this offense, has the capability to check to a run. If he doesn't like what the defense is showing, sure, Sam's going to check it. Kyson Brown, you got 7 guys in front of you to go block, right? And same thing the other way. If they've got 2 tight ends in a 2 tight end set, and we got 1 running back in the backfield, we're in 12 personnel, and I don't like what that defense is showing me, they got 7, 8 guys in the box, fine, I'll check to a pass. And you know why they can check to a pass? Because they're bringing in these athletic tight ends that can do it all. They can block. It looks like they're blockers, but my goodness, if they get off the line of scrimmage untouched and you have a linebacker in coverage against a 6'6", 260-pound tight end, you're going to lose that matchup. There's not a Big 12 linebacker that can cover that. There just isn't. Right? So it's a mismatch nightmare. The way that you've seen college football continue to change and develop over the years, right? What was it 20 years ago, right? You had Tim Tebow. What's this? We got a quarterback that can run and throw the football, right? Just a few years ago, you had the RPOs. Does the defense know what we're going to be doing here? Can I throw it to my wide receiver off a read option? Right? It's a new way to play the game. And now you're starting to see this, I think, go back into college football where teams are going to start using 12, 13 personnel where it's like, hey, we're big up front, right? We got our offensive linemen, but we also got 3 other dudes out here that are between 6'4" and 6'6", anywhere from 235 pounds to 260 pounds. I'm going to either put you in the dirt or I'm going to go up the seam and you're going to have to run with me. And you've got a quarterback now going into this offense for a second season. This is key why it was important that Marcus Arroyo was retained here, that now has the capability to check, right? I can check at the line of scrimmage if I see that the defense is in something that I don't like, or if I feel they're vulnerable in a way. Sam can check to a run. He could check to a pass. And guess what? If he gets in a pickle, I've got a top 3 wide receiver in college football on the perimeter that I can just throw it up to because it's not a 50-50 ball. It's an 80-20 ball.
Yeah. And in sports in general, but I always look at it as like fighting because that was like the sport that I did.
Yeah.
Like there's like this game plan, but you win based off of having like counters, right? You win off of being able to adjust and being unexpected, right? It's with basketball, it's with football, it's with baseball. Like you can have one option, right? And let's say you have these big tight ends that you can line them up all on the line of scrimmage and you can win that battle and whatever, right? But when those same guys could also be just as threatening to go out there and break off a 10 to 20 yard reception, right? Or pick up 5 yards on 3rd and 3, the same way that Shimon Mateer was able to do that this season and seemingly just get open at every second because all the attention is elsewhere. Like that is the type of thing where you have if you have multiple tight ends, right? Multiple tight ends that can cycle in and out, that on any given snap can put somebody in the ground and block them for either a direct run or a quarterback run or whatever it might be, or a pass play where you need to protect the quarterback, or they can slip that block and be open right across the middle for one of the best quarterbacks in the country in Sam Levitt to be ready, or they can go along the outside and meet the ball at the high point, shout out to Jalen Conyers, and toe tap it on the sidelines, right? Like your goal line packages become more creative, right? Your 3rd and 3, your 4th and 1, which Kenny loves going for. Maybe not as much this year because they actually have a kicker, but he still likes to be creative. Like when you have these options and these counters that you can throw and you have one tight end that can mirror a wide receiver and an offensive lineman on back-to-back plays, what the hell do you do with that when that guy leaves and the same type of guy comes in? right?
Yeah.
And even you look at like Jaden Fortier, who we consider more of a wide receiver type. Like you're able to throw that guy in there just to keep the defense on their toes. And I'm not saying he can't block, because like Jordan Tyson can block and he's got a wide receiver body as well. Like it's counters and options in this. The tight ends, maybe more than any like offensive position, give you so many of these different options if their skills are versatile.
Yeah, and it's not even about keeping them on their toes, Erik. It's about keeping the defense honest, right?
Yeah.
So where they can't cheat over. You can't, like, if I'm out there and I'm in an 11 personnel, I got one tight end, one running back, right? You're definitely not going to necessarily be as threatened by the ground game. Do you have to play it depending on the offense and their tendencies and the running back and the quarterback and the strength of the offensive line? Absolutely. But if you're throwing in an extra bigger body guy, yes, odds are you're going to have to lean run, right? Because what did I just say? If they're in a traditional box in a 4-3 defense, or nobody, I guess, runs a 4-3 defense anymore, but if you've got, I don't know, a 4-2-5, right, and you only got two backers in there, I see six guys on defense in the box, and I've got 7 to block you, guess what? I'm running the ball every single time. And before we get to a break, it's funny you bring up Jalen Conyers. And this is why I think it was a little bit unfortunate to have him ultimately go to Texas Tech, because he is the prototype for what, in theory, you want an athletic tight end to be, right? Because think back to Jalen Conyers when he was here that 1 year, and or the 1 year, I guess, in Kenny's system, is that he ran the ball. He played quarterback. He lined up outside as wide receiver. He blocked. He played tight end, right? Like, you didn't know what Jalen Conyers was going to do, because he was capable of doing everything. And more specifically, because he was able to do everything, when he moved pre-snap, right? When he's going in motion, you really don't know what's going to happen at that point in time unless you were just ridiculously into the film study of this whole thing.
Even then, you wouldn't know.
When a normal traditional tight end goes in motion, if Cameron Harpool goes in tight end, like, in reality, knowing the tendencies and knowing what Cameron Harpool means for this ASU offense, you are going to cheat and lean run, because he's a traditional blocking tight end. But you get in some of these other guys. You get in a Jalen Conyers. You get in an AJ Ia, that they can run, they can catch, they can throw, they can do everything. They're Cam Scatterbu at tight end, right? In terms of versatility. Somebody goes in motion, that changes the game. And Marcus Arroyo loves pre-snap movement. He loves to confuse the defense. These tight ends are going to make life difficult, man.
I'm excited. I'm excited. I love when we have a topic that we're like, we'll go like maybe 15, 20 on this. And then we're 42 minutes in and we're just ripping.
Just ripping.
I mean, yeah.
In July, we're just ripping.
No, you see, here's the thing, man. Like, it's July, but we're getting close.
We're getting close.
8 Saturdays away.
Yeah. Saturdays away. Yeah. I love it. Desert Coyote in the chat saying, isn't he a 3-star? It depends on which ranking system you go by, which recruiting system. 24/7 Sports has Landen Miree as a 3-star. I believe at an 87 overall grade. So just a few points shy of being a true 4-star by 24/7 Sports. On the flip end of that, Rivals, another site, and another just ranking system, or company, I guess. They also have Landen Miree as a highly rated player, but they do indeed have him as a 4-star tight end committing to Arizona State. Guys, make sure you hit that like button. You hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to PHNX Sports. Of course, Big 12 Media Day was earlier this week. Got a ton done, got a ton of content. We talked to Kenny, Sam, Jordan, Clayton, Graham, Eck. I mean, we talked to everybody that was seemingly there. And we do have one other interview from Big 12 Media Day that we are going to debut for everybody today on the PHNX Sun Devils show. But that's going to be on the other side of this quick break. It's a Friday fun day, okay? So what better way to spend your Friday evening than at home with some snacks and some pure edibles? Honestly, pure edibles, they're a snack in their own right because they taste so damn good. They're not covered in sugar like all their competitors, but boy, are they tasty. And they got a bunch of different flavors and options for you depending on what you like. They've got gummies, they've got Kicks, which are their version of Starburst. I mean, who doesn't love a good Starburst flavor? Chews, soft candies like caramel, and then hard candies as well. But another big part of Pure is the effects, right? They're clearly listed on each tin so you know exactly what effects you guys can expect. Maybe you have trouble sleeping or turning your brain off at night. Well, maybe try the sleep support gummies. Or maybe you're just in a little bit of a rut and you want to put a smile on your face. Well, guess what? Those uplifting gummies are just as good. Make sure you go find yourself some Pure Edibles products from one of the over 130 dispensaries across Arizona.
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just adjusting my thermostat. Yeah. And you're asking yourself, Erik, how are you on PHNX Sun Devils in front of the camera and adjusting your thermostat? Well, I am lucky enough to be with APS and to have myself a smart thermostat where I can adjust it based off of wherever I am with whatever device I can use. Of course, I usually use my phone because nearly half of energy costs come from cooling and heating. And did you know that for every 1 degree you raise your thermostat, that I just put mine up 1 degree, you could save up to 2 to 3% on your cooling costs. But you have to remember to adjust your thermostat. And if you're not home, you're not screwed anymore because of APS Smart Thermostat. Plus, it makes it so easy, and it's as easy as getting it for $0 as well, because right now APS customers may be eligible for smart thermostats for as low as $0. Plus, you can find instant rebates, discount, and special offers on smart thermostats, energy efficient appliances, and more at marketplace.aps.com. Plus, you can get it for as low as $0 when you enroll in the APS Cool Rewards program. If you already have a smart thermostat at home like me, see if it's eligible to enroll in Cool Rewards. Plus, free installs available at marketplace.aps.com. Plus, make sure you come hang out with us on July 26th, Saturday. Pickleball tournament benefiting Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Central Arizona. I said this on the Sun Show yesterday, but there were some real hoopers that came out to this pickleball tournament. If you are serious about this pickleball stuff and you want to get a little competition and take down maybe some PHNX hosts, July 26th, go phnx.com/events. Sign up, be there. Chicken and Pickle on the west side. For all you folks who say we don't do enough events out there on the west side, well, guess what? We got an event out there on the west side. You better show up.
We're going to be there. Be there or be square. Look, also, want to tell everybody, head to go phnx.com and click the little diehard tab. Become a PHNX diehard today. A lot of you found out that Landen Miree was going to choose Arizona State today, right when he did it. Not our PHNX diehards. We've been telling them for a while now that we feel pretty good that Landen Miree was going to choose Arizona State. And even so, last night, dropping some tidbits as well. Of course, we got some fun stories and fun stuff, of course, from Big 12 Media Day. And this season is going to be a really fun season for Arizona State. And if you have been with us as a PHNX diehard for an entire football season before, then you know all the fun that goes down in that diehard Discord on Saturday evenings. We've added a ton of diehards since then, so I'm really excited to see what this 2025 season holds. Again, if you're not a PHNX diehard, highly recommend you head to go phnx.com, you click that diehard tab, and you sign up and you join the fam that we have here at PHNX. Again, hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. And we've been chatting, we've been ripping, we've been vibing, we've been doing all the things on this Friday, a fun day. But man, were the vibes high in Frisco, Texas, when we were talking to those Sun Devils at Big 12 Media Day. Like I said, we talked to just about everybody under the sun, including Arizona State center Ben Coleman, the man who just, when he decides to hang up the cleats and the helmet, this guy is going to be a phenomenal either motivational speaker or he is going to be a great radio host somewhere doing something. But in the meantime, he chatted with us over at Big 12 Media Day, and it was one hell of a time.
I think it's important to understand that it's preseason honors. You know, you kind of take time to reflect back. I know it's nice to get the preseason honors.
We're joined now by Arizona State's preseason all-conference offensive lineman, Ben Coleman. Ben, what was your reaction to seeing that list come out just the other day and you actually getting some national respect here?
I think it's important to understand that it's preseason honors. You know, you kind of take time to reflect back. I know it's nice to get the preseason honors and everything. We're a long way away from where we want to be as a team, where I want to be as a person, as a player. So all that stuff is nice and it's unique because, you know, you are appreciative because not many people get the opportunity to. So when people think highly of you, you respect that. But at the same time, it's preseason, so we have a long way to go.
Yeah. Does last year play into that mindset, the fact that there wasn't a lot of love for this team and y'all shocked everybody?
I don't think so. But when you think of last year as far as the mindset, mindset, we don't feel like it's changed. Just because we won the championship last year, everybody knows that was last year. This year's a new year, but we're super excited. We're glad to have this group. We have a lot of returners, which is important. So I think, too much is given, much is required. So I think we take that mantra with us each and every day. And I think it's really important for all the guys to understand. It's like, hey, man, brand new year. There's no sneaking up on anybody. There's no surprise about this Arizona State team that may be better than people think. The reality is we have good players, but other teams and other players are very good too. So we look forward to the matchups that we have on our schedule.
Brand new year, brand new position for you, starting at center likely for Arizona State this season in 2025. Where's your confidence level kind of kicking in from guard to that center spot this year?
I think sky high. I think that comes through the coach. I think that comes through Sam. I think that comes through my offensive lineman as well, being able to make those subtle mistakes in the spring, and being able to correct those. And I think being able to take coaching for guys that maybe have played the position longer than I have. So whether that's older, whether it's a coach, and whether it's some younger guys. The Helton twins came over and we changed the way I snapped, and that's worked better for me. So I think that's important to really take coaching because learning never stops. So I'm super excited about it. My confidence levels sky high just because I'm an older guy. I'm super old, super senior, and I've been through it. So there's nothing I feel like that I haven't conquered as far as being nervous as far as games and everything. So that's all that stuff is the easy part. I think the hardest part is adjusting, but I feel like I've done a great job so far.
Yeah.
What'd you change about your snap?
So essentially just snapping it here, we changed to more of a dead ball because that's how Sam wanted it. So then having it lower, my hand lower on the laces, then especially with longer arms, it seems like that might be easier. That way, as far as that lever, it seems a little bit more smooth. And I think that's the unique part about centers, that it doesn't matter how you snap it, right? Everybody has different ways that they hold the ball, different hand sizes, different arm lengths. And so I think that's really important for me is just understanding that, like, it's not going to happen overnight, right? And so first way I snapped didn't really work. Then maybe I changed it. Maybe I put the ball out further. And then now going to more of a dead ball because that's how Sam would like it. So trying to figure out what's the best way that I can dead ball snap it. That's the best way so far. So I've been working on that a lot lately.
You brought up coaching. Just quickly, whether it's Kenny or Coach Shaga, what's the difference in the way that they have coached you specifically on the field in your development versus some of the other coaches that you've had? Because like you said, you have been in college football for some time now.
I think, really reminding me of the confidence. You go into spring ball, you go to that first thing, you make mistakes, and you feel frustrated, like I shouldn't make a mistake, right? You're an older guy, he's understanding, like, first of all, you need to make these mistakes now. And I think second of all is, like, you can't let these mistakes affect you in any other way because these other guys need you.
Yeah.
So I don't care if you snap the ball high or low. If somebody else messes up on the field on the offensive line, you need to be that same guy that's right there back on them. So I think that was, really key for me to understand is, like, no matter what happens, that leadership role has to come back. Yeah. And I think I saw that fade really for a couple of days until it was a reminder, like, yo. What happened to the guy that we had last year? What's the big difference? Yeah. Oh, you're focused on what you want to do. You're focused on your play, not understanding is that, like, man, we need everybody else. This is spring ball. You'll make the mistakes, and you have ultra confidence. You know the plays.
Yeah.
You're talking about because you messed up one bad snap, you messed up two bad snaps. Don't worry about it. So, I think that confidence helped me fuel on the back end because I just start snapping with confidence. Like I said, that comes from coaching, comes from Sam, and then the end of spring really good, and everything PRPs throughout the summer has been going super good.
Has that been your mindset your whole life, or is that something that you've had to develop over the last couple of years of college football? Just that overcoming everything.
I think naturally I've had to. I think senior in high school, we won the championship in high school, and I was unfortunate, but I tore my ACL that spring. Really in that recruiting period and kind of understanding, why. You ask God why, and then moving into my Achilles when I tore that 2 years ago, my first year, Dilly's first year here on campus, and I think it's a natural thing to overcome adversity because adversity builds you up to make you a better person.
Before we get you out of here, Ben, one thing that you're looking forward to most in 2025 with the season starting next month, man?
I think I want to see the other players shine. We have big-time players that can make big-time plays. I like that I'm playing center now, and I always make the joke, man, hey, nothing runs without me, and I always tell JT and Sam that. But I'm excited to see those guys go, get the ball to them, get in pass protection, and let those guys go.
100%. Arizona State offensive lineman Ben Coleman. Ben, we appreciate you taking the time today,
no doubt. I appreciate you guys.
As much as I like talking to Ben, I just worry. It's like, is my job security running out?
It's in doubt for sure. It's in question.
It's tough. But, I thought the most fascinating thing was when he talked about changing his snap.
Yeah.
I think what, like, you don't really hear people break down your hand size, your arm length, how the quarterback wants it, everything like that. Like, for somebody who is playing this position for the first time, right? Like that was very impressive to me to see, like, how did you change it? And it's like a 2-minute breakdown of, like, different hand positions, hand sizes, dead ball, arm length, whatever it might be. Like, God, he's so smart. He's
great, man. He is great. I'm confident that he's going to be a really solid center and offensive lineman for Arizona State in what's going to be his final year. of college football. Came back, certainly could have gone to the league, but this is a guy that wants to win here and soak up the opportunity that he has in Tempe. And it's again, just awesome to chat with him and all those other Sun Devils. If you missed any of those interviews, we had one with Matt Berry that was great as well. It's all on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. It's all either up or going to be up throughout the rest of the weekend. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Glenn saying, came to drop a like and say Buffs in Tucson sucks. Everyone have a great weekend. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough to beat that, Glenn. That's a great sentiment there. Also, we just want to shout out everybody that's been in the chat the last few days or that's in the chat today. I've noticed we've started to get a little bit more viewers as we get closer to football season.
Heck yeah.
So I absolutely love to see it. We go live 5 days during the week. Usually we'll have an audio-only episode. Or I guess I shouldn't say audio-only because it pops up on the YouTube as well. But usually there's additional episodes as well, a lot of supplemental content as well. So it's a great time to be a Sun Devil. And Ruby, it's a great time to get into Hot or Not because it is Friday, and we have the one, the only Noah Wolbrecht, also known as the Woolly Mammoth, behind the Mac today.
Hello.
Hello.
There's only one Noah, dude. There's only one Noah. If you guys are new here, Noah produces our Cardinal show and does a phenomenal job, makes all those lovely graphics that you see on social as it relates to ASU and anything else we got. So anytime you see those, it's likely that Noah was in the kitchen cooking some awesomeness. But for, again, those of you that aren't, or I guess that are new here, Hot or Not, something we do every single Friday, that it's just 3 random topics from our producer, and usually it turns into somewhat of an argument. But Erik, I feel like we've been agreeing lately just a little too much, so I'm interested to see what Noah has concocted here.
All right. You guys just want to get into it?
Let's just get into it, man.
All right. First, Hot or Not topic. Jerseys without a player name or number. So just like a blank slate jersey.
Without a number?
Without a number or like a player name. Just like the logo.
No.
Not hot. You're saying not hot? Any particular reason why?
It's a jersey. Those are like 2 very integral parts of the jersey. I don't even like ones that don't have the name on it. Put the damn name on the jersey. Like, unless you're in high school and it's like, you don't have the budget for it. Like, put a damn name on the jersey.
I'm going to say not hot, but it's not hot because it's not going to be not hot for the same reason that Erik said. I'm just not a big jersey wearer in general. Like, if I'm buying a jersey, then I'm getting it signed and I'm putting it somewhere, right?
Okay.
Or I'm keeping it like that. Like, I don't wear jerseys. I don't look good in jerseys. It's not it. The only time you should be wearing a jersey is when you're suiting up for a game or a practice or something, in my mind, and I'm not here for it. Or if it's like a jersey party, right? But like if it's not, then I'm not a big jersey guy. Glenn says only hot if it's a retro jersey. That's an interesting one in there. And Will says blank jerseys are hot AF, generational. What do you think, Noah?
No on the blank jerseys.
No on the blank jerseys.
So
clean sweep, not hot for blank jerseys.
Agreed.
Topic number 2.
Topic number 2 is now these can be, you can say hot or not for these individually or as a whole.
Okay.
But let's just get into it. It's DVDs, CDs, VHS tapes, vinyl, floppy disk, and laser disc in 2025.
Ooh.
I love physical media. Hot.
He says on a non-physical media outlet.
Can't delete physical media. That's forever.
Unless you break it.
Well, it's not deleting.
So you don't like evolution, is what I'm hearing.
No, I'm not saying the other stuff's not hot, but that stuff is still hot. Everything can be hot together, Totri.
Anti-evolution. I mean,
calm down.
I think this is a tough one. Like, I've never owned vinyls. I see the lore with them. I see why people get them. I think they're cool. Like, I think a record player is like really, really cool. I don't see a lot of like traditional record players anymore. It's more just like the new age ones that are pretty much just like, they're like old school. They look old school, but they're literally like you plug in a cord and
like the suitcase one.
Like
the speakers on those.
I see what I don't get the point of that. Like, unless you're just going for like the decorations and stuff. Like, I'm not big on, like, I don't have a preference when it comes to those types of things, like vinyl, CDs, DVDs, whatever. Like, I am so beyond that point in my life of using X, Y, and Z. Like, I don't have a CD player. I don't have a vinyl. I don't have a VHS. Like, I don't have any of those things, right? Maybe, like, if I have kids one day, maybe that's something that I'll like bring back. But like, I'm not at the point in my life where I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go pop in a Disney movie in my VHS tape. Like, it's just not gonna happen, right? Or the VCR is what it was called, right?
Yeah, VCR.
Yeah, like I'm not like I don't even know what you put the tapes in anymore. So I'm gonna say not hot on that one. But I feel like you're the type of guy that's gonna say they're all hot.
Yeah, well, no, they're not all hot. I would say vinyls, DVDs, those are pretty hot, but CDs, I feel like you don't really need to have a CD unless maybe your car radio has a CD player, or you have a CD player, then that's fine. But I have enough, like I have a ton of vinyls, so like I have no need for a CD player.
Yeah,
because I have vinyls instead.
That's totally
and like floppy disk, laser disc, those are a little.
I don't even know what a
extinct.
floppy disk is.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
that's
completely
kind of
honest with you. Look, before we get into our final
the
topic,
oldest guy here.
We are okay, man. We are entering overtime right now here, guys. If you're watching us on TV, the party always continues at gophnx.com. What do we got for our buzzer beater? A final topic here.
Buzzer beater, kind of on a similar lane, and since Erik Ruby here is Mr. Anti-Evolution, we'll see what he has to say about it. AI music, so like bands and artists on Spotify that are on. But like, yes, that's the easy one, right? But
least hot or not topic ever. I'm pretty much anti-AI for most things, but for creative things, music,
Allen Iverson,
thumbnails,
crazy.
I like, no, God, no. Terrible. Do not consume it. Do not make it. It is slop. Stay away. I rest my case.
I agree. But the main part of this question, because we can all agree, can we all just agree that AI music's not hot?
I think it's a ways away from being hot. Okay. I think there's potential there.
No.
But what do you think about bands retaliating by taking all of their music catalog off of Spotify?
I hate it. Absolutely hate it. As somebody who uses Spotify every single day, Free Ad Friday, I hate that. I absolutely hate it. It guts me. I refuse to use Apple Music. And yeah, that's where I stand on that right now.
If that's why they're taking it off of Spotify, then I stand in solidarity. I hate AI. Unless they take over and there are overlords, and I love you guys.
There will always be overlords, Erik.
Yeah,
always.
But like the AI overlords.
I guess that's fair.
I think we already have AI overlords.
Yeah, we do.
Fair.
They're always
People
watching.
don't know this. I'm actually AI.
Yeah.
I'm just created in a lab.
Yeah, well, he is tune-ups every single week. We're working on perfecting him before that.
Can we make the loudest, whitest podcaster of all time?
Well, on that note,
put the brightest brains together.
Lord, that's going to do it for today's episode of the PHNX Sun Devils show. Again, we appreciate everybody hopping on live or listening after the fact. Have a great weekend. And if you enjoyed today's content, give us a follow on social at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow the man who left his water bottle in Dallas. That is Erik Ruby on social. That's Erik with a K. And you can follow Noel Woolbrecht somewhere on the internet. Always elusive. And we will be back on Monday. But in the meantime, go Devils. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.